Alright. I have a couple notes right here I'm going to be reading from to kind of help me stay on track. But in this week's module, we listened to a podcast about the NUMMI project, which was basically Toyota and General Motors teaming up to kind of help General Motors, where American manufacturers kind of incorporate some of the ideas and cultural values that Toyota has implemented in their own workplace. Throughout the podcast, it was basically them highlighting and discussing how the project went and getting different people's insights on the whole project. Like one guy, he stated how in all his years, his working years, anywhere he's worked, none of his employers, such as like managers, supervisors, safety people, no one's ever asked him like to kind of incorporate his own ideas to help solve a problem in the workplace. And Shook made a statement also later on in that podcast about how the whole point was them wanting to adapt the cultural ideas that Toyota had and create a teamwork environment. Teamwork not only just for employees, but the whole company as a whole, down from employees all the way up to supervisors and managers and stuff like that. And question 2, Shook also made a statement about how all employees have the right to be successful in any work that they're doing. Read my notes. Alright, this correlates with lean culture, because the whole point kind of lean culture is to provide elements and tools for employees and managers and supervisors to be successful and to come together to work together as a team to basically be a more efficient company. I believe that's kind of what he meant by that statement, and how it correlates with lean culture. Like throughout the semester, we learned about different concepts such as like 5S or visual representation. Those are tools from lean culture to help guide and kind of help employees be successful when doing their job. That's basically what lean culture is, and different concepts and elements of lean culture. They're tools basically to help employees and manufacturing companies to be successful, right? Kind of adapt the culture of everyone coming together, everyone sharing ideas, let's figure out how to make what we do better, basically. Moving on to the next question. The cultural elements of work relates to this week's module. Just by expanding on the concepts that we learned throughout the semester already. Like I was stating before, like I feel like this whole class, every module and every week that we came into class, we learned a new tool to kind of help, a new tool which basically is a breakdown of lean culture. I'm trying to see if that makes sense, but I feel like the whole class and this week's modules basically just built up on top of each other of basically the whole idea of what lean culture is, if that makes sense. Like I stated, like Judoku, 5S, visual controls, standard work instructions. These elements help aid the workplace in creating a good culture environment in the workplace. And it also highlights teamwork and incorporate everyone's ideas and suggestions. Like that kind of ties into the podcast as well. That was kind of like basically the whole point of Toyota coming to work with General Motors. They kind of wanted them to adapt those same thoughts like of teamwork and kind of creating a culture environment in American manufacturing companies, right? Because as I stated in the podcast, like after implementing those ideas, they've seen the change and seen the improvement in their work culture and what they're producing. Like General Motors, they work on cars and stuff like that. They've seen the improvement in that manufacturing aspect. So I feel like them doing the project helped them kind of improve teamwork and the cultural environment in General Motors. And the last question was from this week's this week's module. Sorry. What do I basically take from the podcast, and how can I see myself utilizing it later on in the future? How did it change my thoughts on lean culture? I definitely, like, the guy's statement really stuck out to me about how no one's ever asked for his opinion, or no one's ever asked for his help on solving a problem, and how he felt a part of the team. He felt like he made a change, and he helped like change and improve different things at his workplace, you know, and it kind of increased employee morale as well. I could tell, just listening to him, I could hear how excited he was that someone actually thought to ask, hey, these people actually work and do this job every day. They would know more about how to improve this than us sitting in our office, you know. So this week's podcast and module kind of expanded on teamwork, and it incorporate pretty much all the modules that we learned throughout the semester. Just kind of expanded on those thoughts that we've been discussing in class. And yeah, I really enjoyed listening to the podcast. It was great.